So, last episode, the crew of the Dauntless made themselves big damn heroes once again, saving the timeline, saving the Federation from a Class 9 apocalypse. So, things have calmed down a little bit since then, and we find ourselves a couple of days later in the Klingon embassy on Felithrix. Entire crew is there, but particularly Cheyenne and Plakir.
Am I there? Am I feeling better or?
Yeah, whole crew.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Just out of curiosity, because I missed it.
My
what
whole
exactly
Dauntless
happened?
fam.
Okay, one person at a time.
Oh, it's okay.
So Regan, what were you saying?
What exactly happened?
So, the Dauntless went back in time 2 years to a alternate timeline where Romulus, instead of having been destroyed, had been assimilated. And they were there to stop Sloane, who was going to try and change the timeline by keeping the Borg there. So, what the Dauntless crew had to do was basically take out Sloane's ship, which Rye did, nearly getting himself assimilated in the process, because temporal
literally got
shenanigans.
himself assimilated in the process.
Yep.
It's just the tip.
We
It wasn't all the way.
We had to
no, wait, it was all the
deborgify
way.
him.
It wasn't
Like
too long.
he was full on walking through full force fields and trying to assimilate the ship. Like he was a drone.
Yep. And then, with one quantum torpedo salvo, the Dauntless disabled the shields on this Borg cube that had temporal shielding put on it by Sloane. So, the timeline got fixed that way. But yeah, Rye nearly ended up assimilated. Shienna nearly ended up dead.
Oh god.
Yeah, I took a straight shot to the gut from a Herald staff.
Anti-proton beam, nasty stuff.
Very nasty. So,
Oh, and we have Mirror Shiana in the brig, but she is in cryostasis.
yep. Along with
And-
Mira Bianca, who was beamed aboard Dauntless a couple of episodes ago, basically as a distraction. Y'all rescued the Zealand ambassador, who Sloane had kidnapped.
So we got a lot of shit done, is what I'm hearing.
A lot of shit, and we ran about an hour and a half over.
Yeah, we did, and like it was one of those things where like we were going to end with Rye floating in space being assimilated. We were like, no,
We can't
cannot
end
do
there. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a 4-hour episode if you go to Dawn's YouTube,
And I'll
you
put
can
the
listen
link in
to it, and
in the
it's
channel.
really good. I re-listened to it this week, and I really enjoyed it.
So what I'm hearing
Dawn,
is
I'm gonna send you a
everything
private message.
happened, except I did not lose another limb. So everything else bad happened.
Yeah,
Could have happened.
we nearly had 2 permadeaths.
You
Character death.
did get to help the Doctor set the Dauntless up to travel through time vortex.
I heard it. So I just saw the accommodation going. Apparently, I did some good shit, and I went.
Yep.
Well, I did some good shit.
All right. So are we ready? No, wait. Kate, you had something you wanted to say, and then Adam. Or no?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Mine was pretty simple. I'm just with my milestone. I'm upping my science to 5.
Yeah,
I just wanted
and-
to say that before we started.
And Rye gets an additional normal milestone for having suffered a lethal injury.
Oh, cool. All right. Well,
Because assimilation
won't
counts
do
as a
anything
lethal
like that.
injury.
I mean, it does.
I
Cool.
would
I just
hope
wanted to say
so.
that I'm not sure if I can alter my sheet in D20 or
You should be able
roll
to.
20. Cool. Then I will try to not mess that up.
Okay. All right. So the scene is set. The braziers that you can't necessarily see in this dining hall image are lit.
Braziers, they're braziers. Braziers are what women's boobs go in.
I was really wondering.
Braziers
Why
are little
not,
holders
though?
of fire.
Good to know.
Flaming titties, guys.
Flaming,
That's what's happening now.
flaming titties.
So I
Yes.
have no
Face
objection to flaming
lesbian.
titties. So
I've been
it's
mispronouncing
fine.
that my whole fucking life. I love it.
Yeah, it's brazier.
Which means
Okay.
that you read it, and that's fine. Like, it is totally fine to mispronounce
Brazier
words that you know
is-
because you read them somewhere.
Brazier is like the formal word for bra. It's like the full word for bra.
Huh, weird. I always thought that was pronounced with a short A. Anyway, the dining table and the chairs have been moved out of the way, so it's an empty chamber packed. Well, the floor is empty to furniture, but packed with people, except for the aisle down the middle. At the end, near the fireplace, stands the matriarch Valkyrie of House Duras, who intones, "With fire and steel did the gods form the Klingon heart. So fiercely did it beat. So loud was the sound that the gods cried out, 'On this day we have brought forth the strongest heart in all the heavens. None can stand before it without trembling at its strength.' But then the Klingon heart weakened. Its steady rhythm faltered, and the gods said, 'Why have you weakened so? We have made you the strongest in all of creation.' Plakir, dressed in Klingon armor, walks into the room and says, 'I am alone.' Valkyrie says, 'And the gods knew that they had erred, so they went back to their forge and brought forth a second heart.' Shienna walks into the room here. And Jonas, I'm going to have you as the sword bearer here, I think.
Okay.
So he walks.
Yes!
So Jonas walks toward the two of them, holding out the batleths, which Plakir and Shienna take in their hands. Valkyrie continues, 'But the second heart beat stronger than the first, and the first was jealous of its power.' Plakir strikes the center of Shienna's blade. Shienna parries it and brings her blade to Plakir's throat. Fortunately, Valkyrie says, 'the second heart was tempered by wisdom.'
And Shianna says, 'If we join together, no force can stop us.'
The two give their swords back to Jonas and take arms with one another. And Valkyrie says, 'And when the two hearts began to beat together, they filled the heavens with a terrible sound. For the first time, the gods knew fear. They tried to flee, but it was too late. The Klingon hearts destroyed the gods who created them and turned the heavens to ashes. And to this day, no one can oppose the beating of two Klingon hearts. Not even me. Plakir, scientist for the House of Duras, does your heart beat only for this woman?' 'Yes.' 'And will you swear to join with her and stand with her against all who would oppose you?' 'I swear.' Shienna, first officer of the USS Dauntless, does your heart beat only for this woman?'
Yes.
'And will you swear to join with her and stand with her against all who would oppose you?'
'I swear.'
'Then let all present here today know that these women are married.' And Plakir grabs Shienna by both hands on the face and pulls her into a kiss. And after a moment, pulls away and embraces the Lady Valkyrie in a hug. And Valkyrie bows Shienna. Just the smallest, almost unnoticeable thing, but it's perceptible for you, who have spent so much time training under this woman, trying to win the approval for this very ceremony.
And Shienna bows in return and says, "My lady."
Welcome to the House of Duras, my daughter. This is when you see you and Plakir, Shienna, see Bianca, Jonas, and who else was in that party?
Dolly.
Dauntless.
And
Yeah.
Graham.
Yeah. So the four of them approach with like padded maces, and we'll cut the scene there.
As they rush in and go, ah!
Basically, yes.
and start beating the crap out of you guys.
It's technically a gentle beating.
The-
Oh,
we're
if-
talking
if
about
Jonas is
Sisram
doing-
here. He'll try.
If Jonas is doing any hitting, it's definitely gentle.
That's yeah. And yeah, the last thing as they're approaching, and Plakir taking kind of a protective stance, one step in front of Shienna, because Shienna, you are still recovering from that gut wound. All right. Sometime later, actually no, not sometime later. As that's going on, kind of closer to the front of the room, Bianca, I think you had wanted to have a short conversation there as well.
Where?
Yeah,
With whom?
with Datan? Was that right?
Oh,
Am I
yes.
remembering that correctly?
Yes. Yes. Can do. Yes.
Be right back, guys.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Is his title proconsul?
Yes.
Proconsul Datan, do you have a moment?
Of course, Captain. What can I do for you?
I have some intelligence that might be of interest. And she kind of like motions them to a corner where they won't be overheard.
And the rest of the dining hall is so rowdy right now that you'll have enough trouble just trying to hear yourself speak.
She goes, I have it under good authority that Imperator Katira Salvan of the Star Empire is going to defect to the Republic.
I see. How reliable is your source?
My fiance. He is currently in her custody.
What can the Republic do to assist?
Be ready to intercept her fleet, because she is going to pretend that she has Varric captive, and I will respond, and then she will meet me with her whole fleet, and the plan is to knock Dauntless's quantum slipstream drive offline and have her pursue me into Federation-held space close to the border with the Republic. I'm working on a plan now, and I can keep your commanders apprised.
I will pass you a personal communications channel, Captain. I look forward to receiving the defectors if this turns out to work as well as you hope it will. It is a bold plan, but I believe bold actions garner bold rewards.
She has 22 ships in her fleet that are coming with her.
If this is in fact a trap, Dauntless will be sorely outmatched.
That is also my worry. However, Captain Santiago says that he trusts her. Apparently, she restored his mother to him.
Very well. I will alert the flotilla, and we'll have them ready to engage on your signal.
Good. I will let you know. They should. What was that? The name of that system?
The IHI system. I had to look it up myself.
Ah, okay. Have your fleet converge on the IHI system, and have them under cloak.
There is a very good... IHI is in Imperial space. There is a good chance that they will detect us if we try to...
No. The one where they
Oh.
will be coming out of Romulan space.
Oh, my bad. Let me look up that one, because I don't remember that one off the top of my head.
I'm looking it up too.
I think we had it in our conversation, though.
We did.
Yeah. So, hang on. Let me look at the map on my wall. Be right back. Was it the Raytor system?
I'm trying to look up the Romulan or the STO map.
Yeah, I think I would have to actually go into Star Trek Online, and that would be a little difficult in the middle of the session, so... But I think it was the Raytor system.
It was going to be in the Raytor sector.
I can have my fleet I can station my fleet at Galundran Core and wait for a signal there.
Okay. I will let you know.
Very well, Captain.
Enjoy the rest of the festivities.
Thank you, and elements be with you.
Be with us all.
All right. I'm going to do a scene change really quick, and we'll be at Starbase 374. This is a little abrupt, but I do think that we got a personnel transfer to deal. Okay, so yes, sometime later, Dauntless is at Starbase 374 when you receive an incoming communication.
On screen?
On screen, Captain.
Captain West. Captain Safan, USS Valkyrie.
Captain Safan, what can I do for you?
We received your request for a specialist in the psychological and psychiatric fields. I have someone who is prepared to beam aboard your vessel.
Of course. We'll be prepared to receive them.
Very well. Safan out. And the bridge transporter activates a couple of moments later. And standing before you is a Caitian, fairly old by this point. Used to be kind of beige colored, but most of that hair has gone white. Dressed in a medical uniform. Actually, Journey, would you like to describe Loren?
Sure, I can. He's, wow, it's been a while since I described Loren.
I did the best I could, kind of with the messages you sent me, but
Yeah. Is there a, sheet? Because I actually could not find it.
I don't have a sheet. I would not worry about that right now, though.
Okay, that's cool. So Loren's about, I forget how tall he was. I think it was around like 6.5 feet tall.
Yeah, a good 2 meters.
Mm-hmm. He has silvery white fur and very sharp, bright blue eyes that don't really seem to miss anything as he's looking around. He's wearing unusually he's wearing what looks like an old school type medical uniform that probably belongs in a Foot Locker or a museum.
It belongs in a museum.
And Bianca just squares up and she extends her hand. She goes, Captain Bianca West, USS Dauntless. Welcome aboard.
What would his rank be now, Don?
He either would probably be a full commander, or he might have retired and just be a civilian doctor. I'll leave that up to you.
Hello, my name is Commander Loren.
Good to have you aboard, Commander.
Thank you. I was told that you could use my expertise.
Yes. In fact, I have a couple of cases that I think you should attend to.
More than one.
First and foremost, I can send you her file.
Files are good, yes.
And, well, you'll have to follow me to the brig.
Of course, lead the way.
And, Bianca gets into the turbo lift.
Mm-hmm.
With Loren. And, they start heading down.
Okay.
And once they get to the brig, she leads him to my counterpart's cell.
Beforehand, would Loren have been given any sort of information about what he's going into?
What information might you have been able to send over, Bianca? Just like a what you all know, like the basically the intelligence that you all have?
Right. Yeah, that she is from the Mirror Universe. It seems like she had been tortured
Okay.
aboard Sloane's vessel by Mirror Shiana. That kind of thing.
Okay, so he basically has a full debriefing of everything.
And Loren sees someone who looks exactly like Bianca. Except a lot more disheveled.
Oh, you weren't kidding. You know, I had to
And
do
she's
it.
just like curled up in a corner, like non-responsive.
You know, I had to read your report 3 times before I actually believed it.
Yes, and this is just beyond the capabilities of our current staffing.
Well,
Dr. Jar put in your recommendation.
of course she would. He says that very fondly.
I take it you served together.
Did. I served with her on the Valkyrie.
During the Dominion War.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have your work cut out for you here.
No
She
kidding.
hasn't talked to anyone here in days. She hasn't eaten anything.
What was the last event that happened to her before she became like this?
I took off her neural inhibitor. She's a very strong telepath. Psionic, even. And told her to... And that told her to take it out on the one who had hurt her, and that's how we have... And Bianca kind of nods to the next cell that has a cryopod in it. The capture of that one.
Ah, the sociopath.
Yes.
Not wrong.
You know, going over these reports, I could write... If I managed to help here, I could write so many papers on this.
I have no doubt. The
What
mental
exactly-
conditioning she received in the mirror universe to have the kind of abilities that she does on top of everything she's gone through. I can't imagine.
Let me be frank with you, Captain. What exactly is it you're hoping to achieve here?
And Bianca just looks at him and she goes, I want her fit to go back to where she came from.
So you want to send your mirror universe counterpart back to where she belongs? So what, that she might keep trying to come back through?
No. But she was being held in the highest security facility that the Federation had, and that didn't contain her. I feel like our only option is to send them back where they came from.
Yes, well, I will do all I can to help you with that, but as good as I like to believe I am, I can't make you any promises that it'll go well. It takes time. The amount of damage that's been done to her psyche, it could take a while before.
Understood.
Sorry, my cat just literally
Oh.
rolled off the desk and knocked my drink over. It's fine. It's fine. There's a towel right here.
Bianca just goes, that's understood.
And I'm to assume you want to also send that one back as well, or do you have different plans for the one who attempted to murder your crew?
We'll see. But right now I need her to tell me if there's any more of them that escaped custody.
Huh, so you need her interrogated.
I want her cooperation.
Well, like I said, Captain, I will do my best, but I cannot make promises.
Do what you can.
Of course.
And with that, Bianca just leaves them Goes back up to the bridge.
Okay. Just a second to do this. I said to do this. Thank you. Second tries a charm.
And after Bianca gets back, she's putting together a list of people to send on an away team somewhere. Just kind of a background project she's been working on.
Okay.
We've talked about it.
Okay. I don't remember it, but that's all right.
I'll just message you.
I appreciate that. um,
But yeah, I mean that's that.
okay. Um, so, I know we wanted to do something with the diplomatic conference here. How do you want to transition to that?
Oh, I think it's just probably like the next session is being called.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Actually, I want Bianca to make a call to her mother first, and then
Ooh.
do that.
Okay, so ready room?
Yeah.
Sorry, a lot of this is very a lot of the first part of this episode is very Bianca heavy, and I apologize. We'll kind of split this out a little bit here shortly.
It's all good.
And Bianca just makes a hail to Starfleet security.
You have to wait a few minutes because of the hold screen, and then Admiral Quad. Bianca, what can I do for you?
I was just wondering what kind of progress you'd made on my last request, because we're about to go back into negotiations with the Zealand.
And Sarah, remind me what that was, because
You said it was like an Orion cruiser and a lot of biomimetic gel.
Thank you. Yes. We've procured an Orion battle cruiser and several cases of biomimetic gel.
To what end?
To the end of having the Zealand believe that the Copper Corsair is dead.
Thing is I don't know how much they know about this. I mean, this is no better than what Section 31 was offering me. This is effectively lying to build an alliance.
It is lying to sustain a peace, absolutely. But I can live with that.
I don't think I can.
Okay, what's your alternative?
I mean, if they ever find out. The Zealand are going to want something. I think I might be able to convince them to accept the resignation of the head of Starfleet Security for violating for violating the autonomy of a sovereign power.
I'll be honest with you, Bianca, I don't know if Jarrell will go along with that. she says, referring to Admiral Quinn.
Right. We can't go along with that, but we are willing to compromise our very principles just to cover our own ass.
I tell you what, she says, typing something onto a console on her desk. Why don't we discuss it in person? Dauntless has orders to return to Earth space dock, effective immediately.
But the conference,
We'll go on without you.
well then how am I going to convince them that they should take this alternative?
Speak quickly. And don't make
All
any
right.
promises you can't keep.
I'll do what I can.
Quarty out. And just
And Bianca's just going to fix up her uniform, and without a word, she's going to beam over to the starbase.
stands up, does the Picard maneuver.
And then she's going to, like, as the diplomats are filing in, she's going to pull Kismet aside.
Captain,
Do you trust me to do the right thing?
yes, she says after a moment.
Okay, then let's be about it.
She just kind of cocks her head and takes her seat.
And instead of taking the seat beside her, Bianca is going to stand up in front of all the delegates and say, before these proceedings take place, I have something to say.
And the room kind of quiets. Like, all the diplomats in this room recognize the captain of the Dauntless.
And Bianca is standing straight. I assume that there's like a podium or something.
It's kind of like a round table kind of situation, but like
Okay.
there's an entrance to the room, and standing there you can kind of take command of the room.
Yeah, I'm just standing in the middle and I just go. I kind of bite my lip, look at the floor for a minute, and then I look straight at every delegate kind of in turn as I pan my head. I say, a great man once said, Starfleet is a promise. That promise means many things. I give my life for you, you give your life for me, no one gets left behind. And it is a promise of integrity. Unfortunately, there are those in this organization who would see Starfleet put its days of integrity behind us. Some of those people greenlit an operation of open insurrection against the Zealand codenamed Copper Corsair. This order came directly from the head of Starfleet Security.
And you start to hear murmuring as you say that.
And she's just going to up the volume, like the bite in her voice.
Yep.
At the time, attempts at opening dialogue with the Zealand had proven less than fruitful, and many in the Federation proclaimed something had to be done about the trafficking of individuals against their will. However, the Zealand are a sovereign power in the Carina Nebula. Starfleet Security hoped to have plausible deniability with this operation. But with these peace talks, they quickly began to erase all paper trails related to Copper Corsair. And I say this because despite Starfleet Security's attempt to deceive you, Ambassador, she looks at Kismet,
Mm-hmm.
I believe this would be an unacceptable foundation for an alliance. I understand why saying so may jeopardize that very same alliance we hope to build. But I swore an oath to uphold the values of the Federation and Starfleet, and to carry out my duties with integrity and honor. I will not stand idly by as Starfleet intelligence disgraces these proceedings with their disingenuous intentions. It is my hope that this act of good faith will soften the blow that Starfleet has refused to extradite any personnel involved with Copper Corsair. However, due to his willful interference in the affairs of a sovereign power, I have called for the resignation of Rear Admiral Jason Whitman, Director of Starfleet Intelligence. It is not
And
official.
say that again.
Okay, and what were you going to say?
Oh, and I said, and at that, the pent up murmuring becomes a full on roar. Like delegates starting to try and yell over each other. At one point, you hear Worf, "This action was without honor."
And then with command in her voice, Bianca says, "I agree, Ambassador Worf," in an attempt to silence the room.
And the delegates are start to quiet down, and Kismet speaks up. "Captain, we find this turn of events most unfortunate. In light of this information, we must also ask for the resignation of Admiral Whitman. Additionally, we must ask that Starfleet provide us with technology that we can use to prevent further such incursions. I refer to specifically to tachyon detection grid technology."
Oh, bitch. I'm not there, but I'm just.
"We consider our borders sacrosanct. These are our terms.
And we should have held them as sacrosanct, Ambassador. However, I am only one captain. I will use my influence to the greatest good that I possibly can. And I know it may be little consolation, but I hope that we can come to a compromise with the sincere apology from Starfleet and the Federation for the harm we have caused with our interference. And we hope we can move forward from these events into a new future."
Very well, Captain. Do what you can. We will continue here with the negotiations.
I yield the floor.
And Bianca, give me an insight command check. Difficulty 1.
Would any of my focuses apply?
Let me look.
Diplomacy? Composure?
Yeah. Diplomacy, absolutely.
2.
All right. Gain 1 momentum. Kismet was very quick to respond with a counteroffer, almost as if she knew she probably wasn't going to get what she wanted when it came to the Copper Corsair, but she was able to use that to bargain for something of greater value to the Zealand.
Mm.
I will take a quick break and be right back. Sorry, drink a lot of water.
Yay, Shiana's married now.
Yay!
I know, right?
It's so cute.
What did y'all say?
Shiana's married now. Yay.
And Blakir are very cute.
Aww. Yes.
So happy for my little security officer.
Aw. Also, Bianca is like, I don't know if I did the right thing.
Bianca definitely did the right moral thing, but maybe not the right political thing.
She never claimed to be a politician.
Okay, so for the prep work that I know you put in for that, and for the role playing, I'm going to award an additional momentum.
Okay.
All right, so Dauntless has her orders.
Lieutenant Cardin, set a course for Earth through the transwarp gate.
Aye, Captain.
Quinn's gonna be so pissed.
This is Dahli's first time going to ESD.
It is.
And I
Just
imagine,
trying not to look sad as we leave the nebula.
and I imagine at during the few minutes it's going to take that Dathli and Bianca can have a conversation, because I think Dathli had been
yes.
wanting to talk. Okay.
Oh, yes.
So, Dauntless plots a course into the Transwarp Gateway, and you all are on your way.
All right. Did we receive the commendations already, or is that
Nope,
a different...
that's coming up.
Okay.
We haven't been
Spoilers.
awarded the medals, but I would think that like y'all got like little emails that are like, you have been awarded this.
Nope,
right?
not yet. They haven't heard anything
No,
yet.
not yet. Oh, okay.
All right. So I will.
Oh, so my wedding dress uniform was missing my new medal? Ugh.
Yeah, so I will go to the ready room, if that's where Bianca is.
Yep.
Come in, Donley. I actually wanted to talk to you.
You did. About what?
I wanted to let you know that Romulan Republic Command I put you in for, and Romulan Republic Command approved you to be awarded the Star of Chihrehan, the Star of Romulus, for your actions on our last mission.
My actions were no different than the rest of the crews.
I put the whole crew in for something. And that's between you, me, and the wall.
She kind of like looks at you and then like looks like to the chair like by your desk and like doesn't sit but kind of like walks closer.
You can sit if you want.
Uh,
Pull up a chair, it's always my policy.
I appreciate that, Captain. However, as flattered as I am, I don't think I can accept the honor.
Bianca just kind of smiles knowingly and nods, and she goes, hence why I wanted to talk to you about it.
Ah,
I had a suspicion.
convince me.
I can't convince you one way or the other, but ever since you came on board this ship, have become a member of her crew, you have demonstrated and Bianca, thinks for the words for a few seconds, and then she goes, "You haven't just gone above and beyond. You have put your very essence into this ship and your duties. I'm sure because maybe you didn't know any different, maybe it helped you acclimate after being de-assimilated. But that type of service, of selfless service without expecting anything in return, is precisely why you are deserving and you are worthy. And I don't know if you know how worthy you are."
Captain, to be honest, getting the award in a rather diplomatic way is not traditional.
Maybe, maybe not. But I want you to consider that what you did, it's not just part of the job. It's a demonstration of commitment not only to your uniform or the Romulan Republic or Starfleet or anything, it's to your crew, to your fellow being. I'd hate to see you not recognized for something like that.
Hmm. Well, if it will ease your mind, I suppose I can go through with the ceremony.
Bianca holds her hand up. She goes, "I don't want you to do it for me."
I suppose thinking about it is in order.
Perhaps. And
I did.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to
No,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And of all the things that this crew has done, this is my first time putting anybody in for awards ever. And I really feel like this time it was very well deserved on everyone's part. It's not just feather in your cap, it's validation for yourself, too.
I need no self-validation, but I appreciate the gesture.
Fair enough. You've always been your own person. Ever since the day we brought you aboard.
Even when there were two of me.
Yeah. Especially when there were two of you. You've been through things that nobody else has. And I'm not sure anybody else would have thought to jump their crewmate who had just been turned into a Borg drone and try to fight the nanites with their own nanites.
I told the EMH not to put that.
Huh?
I told the EMH not to put that in the report.
The EMH didn't. but I saw the security footage.
That. Mm, it was a stupid move.
You saved the ship and Lieutenant Commander Cherkav. It's very possible that he never would have gone unconscious long enough for us to do anything for him other than kill him.
Well, I succeeded on that front. Both
It was quick
times.
thinking. It was quick thinking.
I still don't think Commander Turkev will forgive my actions or enjoy everything. I have a feeling he sort of resigned himself in a way.
That is for him to decide.
Perhaps.
But you did good. Really good.
I appreciate that. I see that you have approved my request to speak to Admiral Quinn.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'll be there with you.
I have several notes. There have been attempts to run simulations in order to improve my rhetoric. They mostly devolve into screaming.
Well, hopefully there won't be any screaming. Although I have a feeling Quinn might scream at me.
What did you do?
I told the Zealand about the Copper Corsair. Not exactly who was involved, but that it was Starfleet intelligence.
That just gets like a slight head tilt. A rather unexpected move.
I felt like we couldn't make a productive alliance on lies.
Personally, I would have seen or attempted to gather what kind of information they had in the first place on the operation and then acted from there, but I suppose that is a more political help. A more
Fucking
political,
words.
a more political maneuver than diplomatic.
Well, if they didn't want me to have my morals get in the way, they never should have put me in the chair.
I suppose.
I do expect that I will get reamed up one side and down the other, and I'm fine with that. But I will make sure that you don't get reamed upside and up one side and down the other. How about that?
I did not participate in any operations involving the Copper Corsair.
No, I'm just saying for when you talk to Quinn yourself.
Oh. Most of my, I suppose you can say, grievances with Admiral Quinn that I wish to air involve the Unimatrix.
I had a feeling. But we will do this together.
Are you aware that I've been receiving death threats?
I have not.
I find them quite funny.
What?
Well, luckily, Nothing can get past this ship and her crew to get to you.
I do plan on speaking with Commander Darrow about it at some point. However, I believe it's just frustration at the idea of yet more Borg incursion on hapless Starfleet space.
Well, Unimatrix 652 is a different beast. It's not. The Queen is a completely different ball of wax, as the humans say.
Odd phrase.
She looks like a ball of wax. Have you ever seen a picture of her?
I have seen the Borg Queen before, yes.
Yeah. I feel like I shouldn't mock her too much. She would probably kill me. But, you know.
She is an oddly emotional creature.
Is she? I wouldn't know.
I also wanted to apologize.
For what?
The hydroponics bay.
What happened in the hydroponics bay?
I start backing up towards the door.
Maybe I just shouldn't know.
Jonas, this is about the time the ship comes out of the transwarp gate.
I may have been attempting some scientific experiments that went awry.
Ah. Well, as long as they don't take over the ship.
Lieutenant Carden to Captain Bianca.
Captain West here?
We're coming out of the transwarp gate now.
Ah. I'll be right there. And she... she kind of motions for Zali to precede her out of the ready room.
Yeah, Dolly kind of gives you like that kind of like sheepish look, and then kind of like almost, and like it's definitely an expression that you haven't seen before, but she kind of like looks at you and then like kind of ducks out of the room.
Bianca just grins. She trusts Zali to clean up her own messes.
There's not a set of live ferns slowly growing over the hydroponics bay. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no.
Semi-sapient plants.
Oh dear.
That's what happens when you inject them with nanoprobes.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Anyways.
So Dauntless has emerged from the transwarp gateway and is in Earth orbit.
Lieutenant, contact Starbase 1.
Hi, Captain. Starbase 1, this is the USS Dauntless.
USS Dauntless. This is Earth Space Dock. Welcome home.
Request docking procedures.
Affirmative. Docking procedures granted. Opening space doors for you now, Dauntless.
And Bianca just motions to Jonas. She goes, take us through.
Hi, Captain.
Let's do a difficulty 1. Control con. With engines con from the ship. Helm operations focus applies.
Okay. I know it's just a difficulty 1, right?
Yep.
I'm just gonna take a dice for cautious con to
Yep.
gain us some momentum.
And boy howdy.
Look at all that momentum.
Yep.
Yeah.
And who wants to roll for Dauntless?
I'll roll for Dauntless. Structure con, right? Or engines con?
Engines con here.
Wow. Okay, I'm not allowed to roll for the ship.
Oh, you poor folks. All right, I'm not gonna have Dauntless scrape against space doors on its way in. I'll just bank that. But Jonas, you're able to bring Dauntless into space doors and find her docking area with relative ease.
Mm. Docked, Captain.
All right.
Moorings engaged.
And kind of the we're here.
Yeah, you're actually
What,
getting
yeah.
a hail from Admiral Quinn's office.
On screen.
Aye, Captain, on screen.
Captain West, welcome back to the Alpha Quadrant.
Always happy to be home.
I know there are several matters that you are probably going to wish to discuss, but before we begin any of that, I would like to meet you and your senior staff shortly down at Starfleet Academy in the common area.
Of course. Is shore leave authorized for my crew, the rest of my crew?
Absolutely, Captain. Shore leave is authorized. See you shortly.
All right.
And the
And
comm cuts
Bianca
out.
just disseminates all of that out.
Jonas pushes the shore leave intercom button, which plays jazzy.
Smooth jazz has been deployed.
At the
Elevator music.
Copacabana.
That's what I was saying in my head. I love
And
it.
as they head to the transporter pads, Bianca kind of elbows Shiana, but gently, like not in the midsection, just in the arm, like, hope you and Placare want to spend the honeymoon in San Francisco.
Do we have much choice?
I can authorize leave after all this is said and done.
I know a couple spots at least where we can get away.
Good. And then once everybody's on the pads, she goes, energize.
And there's that sound effect. There it is. All right. So y'all find yourselves down in San Francisco, just as the sun is kind of starting to set over San Francisco Bay. And you are all rather surprised because the Starfleet Academy cadre of cadets is also occupying this entire plaza. Admiral Quinn steps forward and says, "Captain, it was with great pleasure that I received your nominations for medals for your senior staff. And given the gravity of what the Dauntless crew accomplished, I thought it was significant that we give your crew and yourself the recognition that your deeds deserve."
It gets explode up immediately.
This crew is certainly worthy, Admiral.
Excellent. Lieutenant Commander Ron, please step forward.
Oh. I don't know if Regan can speak right now.
Oh. I don't know if Regan can speak either.
Oh no.
Sorry, I'm here. I just like it's too super spaced.
Okay, no, that's all right. You're
Which
here.
makes sense.
So,
If we're gonna be honest, suddenly being commended. Does it just sort of stares for a second?
And Bianca just kind of gives her that look of like, come on.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get what? I'm sorry. What? No, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, no, you to step forward, Commander.
She clears her throat and takes a couple steps forward to meet the Admiral
so
and tries her best to follow proper protocol in like making eye contact or whatever it is. She's like trying to remember how the hell this shit works.
So off to the side, someone starts reading off of a script, basically saying, Lieutenant Commander Jezza Ron distinguished herself through technical excellence and meritorious service as Chief Engineering Officer aboard the USS Dauntless during the Battle of Unimatrix 652. Commander Ron's ingenuity allowed the Dauntless to seamlessly travel 2 years back in time using time vortex technology and intercept the enemy agent known as Sloan. Further, her quick thinking enabled a tactical away team to transport aboard Sloan's vessel, which was out of temporal phase, and quickly planted an improvised explosive aboard the vessel, disabling it and allowing the Dauntless to preserve the timeline. And as the kind of master of ceremonies is reading through that, Admiral Quinn takes a medal from a cadet and just kind of affixes it to your chest, Jezza.
I smile and look
Terrified.
like I'm about to blush and terrified.
And Bianca just smiles like proud mama and claps.
Commander Shiana Darrow, please step forward.
Shiana steps forward carefully, while also throwing a side-eye glance at her captain that is basically murderous.
Bianca's just grinning. Like, what, me?
Award of the Legion of Honor to Commander Shiana Darrow, who distinguished herself through exceptional bravery and selfless service as First Officer and Chief Security Officer aboard the USS Dauntless during the Battle of Unimatrix 652. Without thought to her own safety or well-being, Darrow transported onto an enemy vessel to defeat the enemy agent known as Sloan and to recover a representative of the Zealand who had been taken hostage. Once aboard, she bought valuable time at the risk of her own life for her away team to secure the hostage and disable the enemy vessel. And again, Shiana, Admiral Quinn just kind of affixes the medal to your chest and says, "Congratulations, Shiana."
I would have it known that it was my team who did the work, not me.
And they're being recognized likewise. Lieutenant Jonas Carden, please step forward.
Jonas was in the middle of applauding and then stopped and looks at the captain like she's grown 5 heads. And then stumbled his way up there.
Award of the Star Cross. Lieutenant Jonas Carden distinguished himself through meritorious service as Chief Con Officer aboard the USS Dauntless during the Battle of Unimatrix 652. Lieutenant Carden flawlessly navigated the USS Dauntless through space and time using time vortex technology in order to intercept the enemy agent known as Sloan and preserve the timeline. Additionally, he executed a daring transporter maneuver that saved the life of one of his crewmates and disabled an enemy vessel. And you're just face to face with Admiral Quinn, who affixes the medal and says, "Congratulations, Lieutenant."
Thank you.
Centurion Dahli, step forward, please.
Well, Please gonna like look to Bianca.
Bianca's just gonna half smile and nod slowly. Kind of coaxing, like,
And like with the most like kind of grudging look. Like probably just as bad, if not worse than Shiana's.
So Bianca's gonna get suffocated in her sleep later. Award of the Star of Sharihan. Centurion Dahli Ikarina to Dauntless distinguished himself through outstanding service as Chief Medical Officer aboard the USS Dauntless during the Battle of Unimatrix 652. Centurion Dahli's quick thinking and knowledge of the Borg prevented the Borg Unimatrix from detecting the Dauntless on 2 occasions, allowing the ship's crew to defeat the enemy agent known as Sloan and preserve the timeline. In addition, they provided medical care to a crewmate who had undergone assimilation, saving the crewmate's life. And Admiral Quinn just kind of gives you a curt nod and says, "Congratulations, Centurion."
I just kind of give him the same sort of nod and very, like quickly move back.
Commander Turkev, please step forward.
Rye, we will say for the purposes of narration, he's returned to active duty, but is clearly still physically enfeebled. Like, you know, he kind of walks with a little slower than he usually does.
Yep.
That being said, in this moment, he summons forth his willpower and walks boldly forward.
Lieutenant Commander Rai Imanehak Turkev distinguished himself through meritorious service and selfless bravery as Chief Science Officer aboard the USS Dauntless while deployed to the Carina Nebula sector from Stardate 89020 to Stardate 89560. While leading an away team aboard a derelict station, Commander Turkev disabled a Thaleron pulse generator that, if activated, would have threatened all life on the Delphine homeworld. During the Battle of Unimatrix 652, Commander Turkev ensured the safety of a tactical away team before quickly devising a plan to disable the starship belonging to the enemy agent Sloan, succeeding at great personal cost. And once again, affixing the Christopher Pike Medal of Valor, Admiral Quinn says, "Congratulations, Commander."
Thank you, Admiral. I will step back into line.
Right as you go to step back into line, a captain wearing an operations uniform pulls you aside, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Finally, Captain Bianca West, please step forward.
Bianca kind of has this look of, I should have expected this on her face as she steps forward. And stands at attention.
Commendation of the Palm Leaf of Carina. Captain Bianca West distinguished herself through unparalleled leadership and diplomatic acumen as commanding officer of the USS Dauntless while deployed to the Carina Nebula sector from Stardate 88015 to Stardate 89560. Captain West built a relationship with the Zealand based on mutual respect and eventual trust, to include a rapport with the representative sent by the Zealand to conduct peace talks with members of the Khitomer Alliance. When the Zealand representative was kidnapped by the enemy agent Sloan, Captain West quickly organized a rescue effort at great risk to herself and her crew, defeating an attempt to alter the timeline in the process. Admiral Quinn, affixing the medal, says, "Captain, congratulations."
I did what I had to.
And then we all applaud like crazy.
And yeah, the applause is almost deafening coming from the entire plaza. A small formation of shuttlecraft fly overhead, dropping fireworks too, just because why the fuck not?
Jezza looks absolutely fucking terrified. everything happening right now.
And Bianca kind of just like, she goes back into line, but then she kind of gathers everybody around and she just goes, drinks at the 602 Club later on me, folks.
Okay,
We're gonna take you up on that offer.
and get plastered.
I'm going to need at least a few.
Right?
All right. Well, that was an interesting noise. Everything okay there?
Yeah, I'm in the car. I'm not 100% sure what just happened. But
It sounds like you're in a war zone.
Yeah.
it was possibly fireworks.
We're gonna go with fireworks.
We're gonna hope that it was fireworks.
It's atmospheric. It's the game, you guys.
Yeah, it's just fireworks. I'm not driving through downtown Denver right now. I have no idea what you mean.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So, let's do a scene change here. We'll say it's the next day if y'all are okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before
Oh, actually, there are a couple of things we need to do first. So first, Rye, you recognize the officer who pulled you aside. You've seen his face before.
Was it the guy who turned into at 10?
Say that again?
I'm just wondering if it was the random NPC from 10 forward.
No, it is.
No, okay, that's fine.
Captain Frank. He says, Commander, Captain Franklin Drake.
Captain Drake?
I've read your mission reports, Commander, and I have a proposal that might be of interest to you. And he's kind of pulled you aside as crowds are congregating elsewhere. The two of you are kind of alone in a sea of people. He hands you just kind of palms you a small object.
Okay.
And looking at it, it's a Starfleet comm badge, all black.
Gotcha. My character will look at that, and intentionally I will look at it, but still palm it so that everyone else doesn't see what I have in my hand.
Yeah.
So my question is on the meta level. I remember I have heard this is a big deal on Discovery, but I have not yet to see Discovery. So what would my character know about this?
Give me a reason security check. I'm gonna say the difficulty is 3.
Gotcha.
Actually, no, I'm gonna make it 2.
Okay, cool. Give me just 1 second. Pulling up our business here. All right, reason, security, difficulties 2.
Yep. And I'm gonna give you your infiltration focus on this.
Gotcha. We'll go with it. Let's see what I got.
2 successes.
All right, there we go.
You recognize this. It's a Section 31 badge.
Okay. I will be certain to close my palm a little quicker. And I'll be certain to give this my full attention when the time arrives, Captain.
If you are interested, then I have a ship waiting to depart in 24 hours. Meet me at our space dock. Be ready with a footlocker of your personal belongings.
Will, if I accept, I assume Captain West will be given a reason for my departure?
She will.
Good. Then, Captain, I'm sure there's plenty of Starfleet cadets that are willing to buy you a drink. I kind of slap him on the side. I'll let you know, and thank you for coming to my award ceremony. It is truly a prestigious honor.
Of course, Commander. It was well earned.
Thank you, sir.
Drake walks off shortly after Dahlia approaches.
Doctor?
Are we still outside, like in the?
Yeah, and, I mean, he was kind of out of the way. It took you a few minutes to find him,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
but you managed to track him down, probably using his biosignature. Come to think of it.
And I will just like indicate a nearby bench.
So, he will nod. He has a little bit more of a pleasant demeanor than he normally does. Because it would normally feel he's almost overly pleasant. He's just pleasant now. Of course, Doctor. Here, let's sit here.
I am aware that you no longer wish me to be your primary care physician, but I just wanted to make sure that you were all right.
I'm doing as well as I can. And as Doctor, he says with a smile, as much as I love all the things we have in common, I wish we would stop having so much in common.
It is beginning to get rather ridiculous.
I will say, if I suddenly grow a goatee, you should get suspicious.
Noted. I compiled a short list of exercises that I found helpful when I was adjusting after the removal of my implants. I thought you might find it helpful.
Thank you, Doctor. If I may say, my concern was nothing personal. And perhaps, unfortunately, with time, I will gain perspective on your situation, or at least part of it, until the goatee comes in.
Of course. I will admit there was a bit of a offense, but I can understand your perspective.
The way of the Dara,
Indeed.
no less. I harbor you no ill will, Doctor. For someone who has gone through the troubles that she has, it must be truly difficult. But given what I'm sure many suspect about me, I'm glad that you at least are willing to empathize with my perspective. You may not agree, but at least you can understand.
I understand in many ways, and empathy is a strange perspective to have, but...
Now,
We're
come
both
now,
young.
Doctor. You're almost sounding like a Vulcan. We can't have that.
Damn, that's cold.
Our people flew a long way for a long time to stop things like that.
I merely meant from my perspective.
I understand. I'm simply being my charming self.
Humor. One day, perhaps I will eventually get the hang of it.
Well, given our mutual experiences, maybe I'll be able to make better jokes that you will laugh with. Did you hear the one about pie? I ate the whole thing.
She just gives you like this look. Like where you tell that she's amused, but she doesn't want to laugh.
I'm almost there, Doctor. Almost there. Perhaps a few more nanotubes. Maybe an eye patch. Or a goatee.
An eye patch might do well.
Will give an air of mystery about me. Everyone will wonder, who is he? Where has he been?
You are admittedly one of the strangest individuals I've met. And I've met plenty.
Well, let us hope that in the future I can continue to help you understand what it is to be you, because I will understand first what it is to be you,
Perhaps.
or closer to like you, before the goatee. That is.
The two of you sense an individual walking your way a few moments before you see them.
Is this normal for me? Is this? My question is this my?
This is just kind of your way of the Dara, you think?
Okay, cool. There we go. All right, I just didn't. If me and the Romulan
Which Spidey sense
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it?
You think. But she's dressed, shoulder-length blonde hair, clearly has Borg implants, dressed in a leather jacket and what looks like, almost like jeans. Says, "Pardon me for interrupting. Dudley, you are an exceedingly difficult XP to find."
I suspect that you are 7 of 9.
You are correct. I endeavor to introduce myself and meet with XBs that are now in Federation service. And Commander Rai, I believe that also now includes you. However, briefly you may have been assimilated. You are still an XB now.
I like to be a multicultural individual.
Indeed. I don't know what help I'll be able to offer anytime in the immediate future, as the Carina Nebula is quite a distance for the Fenris Rangers. We don't exactly have access to the kind of slipstream technology you do, but while you are in the Alpha or Beta quadrants, if there is assistance I can provide, please let me know. She hands each of you a little, like, data chip looking thing.
I will put it in the weird pocket that all Starfleet uniforms have.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice uniform.
Seemingly-
Thanks, it has pockets.
I seemingly seem to have nothing in my hands at this point in time, so I will absolutely take that.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go grab myself a drink. It's been a while since I've been down here.
Just watch her walk away.
I mean, it's 7
Here
of
you
9.
go.
We both watch her walk away.
Yeah. Hate to see her go. Love to watch her leave.
Exactly.
I was just thinking that same thing, but I couldn't remember how it went. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and at that point in time, you see, Doctor?
True. It's everyone.
You see,
Ooh.
Doctor? We're getting along, already starting to think alike.
Well, I am going to familiarize myself with the campus, so I will leave you to be.
Take care, Doctor.
And I will give him a nod and head off.
Okay. Now, does anyone have anything else that they want to do here at Starfleet Academy, or shall we do our scene change?
Jonas is not doing anything per se.
Mhm.
He's constantly moving through the crowd, like not staying in one place long.
So,
He's very paranoid right now.
So, Jonas, it's very weird to be back in the Alpha Quadrant after having spent so much time in the Nebula. Like, imagine someone who grew up in rural eastern Colorado or in North Dakota traveling to New York City and just, like, walking down the street. Just the amount of background noise that is around you is almost stifling. And yeah, you really kind of miss the Nebula right now.
Yeah, I'm also way too close to Earth, and it makes me very uncomfortable.
Why is that?
His parents are on Earth.
Oh, right.
Oh, hot damn.
Technically, you're on Earth. You're in San Francisco. Jonas just noping the fuck out. Just I gotta get
So
back.
so are you making like an active effort, like not to be noticed?
Yes.
Okay. All right. For narrative purposes, we will say that uh, that yeah, you're managing to avoid their attention. Although you felt like you might have had their eyes on you earlier when you were receiving the medal.
Yeah, that's why he was very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas is
That is the last conversation people he needs to see right now.
Jonas just becomes part of the topiary.
I am plant.
This Undine leans over and says, "Hey, nice camouflage job." No, I'm kidding.
No. This is where he lets the Borg plant assimilate him.
Right.
Species.
Species 8472 is very impressed by Jonas's shape-shifting skills.
But yeah, no. I mean, I'm not gonna have any roleplay stuff with Bianca because it's already a heavy Bianca session.
Yeah.
But Bianca is at the 602 club with Tom.
Okay. Yeah. There
They're all
is.
like, and they're like looking at the end of the bar, like, is that 7 of 9?
And Tom says, "Well, there's only one thing for this." And he starts walking over toward the karaoke machine.
And Bianca's like pointing the neck of the beer bottle at him, like, haha, you know me so well.
And that's where we will take a 5-minute break. So I will be right back. And
I'm
when
gonna
we
go-
come back, we will be on Earth Space Dock.
All right.
Look, 2 of 47 is just a plant. It doesn't have assimilation abilities. It just kind of like wiggles.
That's fine. It can wiggle its ferns in front of its face and make him invisible.
And it has very, very slight like vibrational energy. So he can kind of vibe with it when he wants to listen. It sings to him in a weird, universal way. All of us. We're so special. We all got medals.
We did.
Bonus should be promoted.
Shh.
He's a lieutenant. I mean, I don't know how long he's been a lieutenant, but he's not a. You're a full lieutenant, not a lieutenant junior grade, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
Okay. I was like, just one. I was like, if you're right. If he was just a lieutenant JG, I'd be like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Babe.
So
got him.
let's see here. I did not set up
Set up.
a.
The town, so pee.
Eating twice.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll find out how much pee.
All right, let's take this map and repurpose it.
Yay,
Do we have
repurposing
new
map.
baby snake shenanigans going on?
Say again.
I was wondering if Adam was having baby snake shenanigans going on.
Oh,
Baby Liz, I
Baby
got out
snake,
Blizzard,
do,
and
do,
Erica
do,
was
do.
like, "You have to bring him here right now." So, and then didn't realize I didn't mute, so I muted you and was like, "And they just heard me talk about baby pee." So,
It's fine.
anyway,
all right. This is no longer a Borg interior. Let's move it over this way. Okay, we can pick up again when everyone's ready.
I am back. Quinn looks pissed. No.
Steph, you there?
Quinn's defo pissed with me.
Quinn always looks like that.
Pretty much.
Bianca, you pride yourself in the fact that you survived the night, given that your first officer and your doctor both wanted to kill you.
Not kill, just glower.
Okay. First officer still might want to kill you, though. You might want to check in with her. When you see her again, she might be a while before she comes up for air. So yeah, here in this office, Dudley, Bianca, Admiral Quinn, Admiral Quarty, and also Captain Nog, who you weren't expecting to see here.
And Bianca just nods to Nog and says, Captain Nog,
Captain West, good to see you.
it's a pleasure. I don't believe we've met.
No, but I've heard a lot about your ship.
As I've heard a lot about yours.
And the doors close and Admiral Quinn says, Dr. Dudley, I understood you wished to speak with me.
Dudley kind of like looks to Bianca a bit, and then towards. I believe you got the briefing on the topic I wish to discuss.
Was that addressed toward the Admiral, or?
Yeah, towards Quinn.
He says, yes, and that's why Captain Nog is here as well. He was present at the incident that you wished to discuss.
I just raised my eyebrows. I see. May I be frank?
Of course, speak freely.
What the hell was Starfleet thinking?
Bianca's like, oh, there it is! Yeah!
And Bianca, you kind of catch an eyebrow from the Admiral.
And Bianca kind of looks at him like, you told her to speak freely.
And Nog speaks up and says, the whole thing was my fault. I apologize. We were trying to postpone the Iconian invasion or to stop it altogether. And one of the ideas that came up was to do an incursion, a temporal incursion, in such a way that the Federation didn't discover Iconia. And our simulations plotted out that the Romulan Empire would have still existed. So, needless to say, the simulations were wrong, and I adjusted things as best I could once we were actually in the situation, but... Well, time travel's messy, and
yet it
Shouldn't
seems
have been doing it in the first place.
Indeed, time travel seems to be a rather fun toy that Starfleet likes to play with. However, my feelings about meddling with time aside, the ramifications and the repercussions of the event not only affected myself and the rest of the crew of the Dauntless, but now, if you are aware, through what Captain West has made available, it now has created a entire new collective within the Carina Nebula.
Located just outside the Carina Nebula, actually.
Yes, thank you for the correction. Which I am doing my best to maintain. However, due to the fact that the collective from which I came from did not have a queen, as she was seen as obsolete, I am acting as some sort of temporary praxis with several other individuals within the Unimatrix.
They came into this universe, Admiral, because they were refugees. The time bubble we created was collapsing.
I see. So, that makes us responsible for their well-being, doesn't it?
That was my thought, sir.
Captain, Doctor, in your opinion, does this Unimatrix represent a threat to Starfleet or the species living within the Carina Nebula?
They are doing their best to adapt to non-hostile measures.
And Quinn turns to look at you, Bianca.
I have put them in contact with the cooperative. I also believe that there could be a tactical significance to altering the Borg's attitude, shall we say, for lack of a better term.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that someone has attempted to help the Borg see a more humanitarian side of things. Captain Picard actually had some level of success with Hugh.
Hugh was disconnected from the collective, and once he was reconnected to the collective, the structure of his cube broke down.
It seems like things are more stable with this Unimatrix, however.
Thanks in part to the cooperative.
All right.
But it is a situation that is constantly evolving.
Of course.
And they will no doubt grow restless if they are not able to expand. Giving them access to individuals or information and technology that they might find helpful would be beneficial.
And if I may be so bold to suggest, Admiral, if our collective, the Queen, comes knocking again, they could be an asset.
Possibly. Keep me apprised, Captain. And Centurion, Doctor.
Admiral, there is two further things. The incident involving the individual known as Sloan that recently occurred also happened because of this paradoxical bubble.
Understood. What else?
Is there a Starfleet or even Alliance department that is available for people who are leaving the Borg to find themselves Mm.
For
In order to-
for ex-Borg?
Yes.
Over the last 10 years or so, we have stepped up Borg reclamation processes. Starfleet Medical has a division dedicated to that, both in terms of physical and mental recovery.
I would like to put in contact with.
I'll make it happen. I do feel like we made a mistake, no matter how well-intentioned our actions were. Make no mistake, Doctor, Starfleet and the Khitomer Alliance take time travel deadly seriously. We undertook that action because we saw no other option, but in retrospect, we recognized that it was not the correct course of action. And for that, you have my sincerest apology.
I appreciate that, though it is not necessarily just me that you should apologize to.
I understand. And as we can, we'll make it right. Is there anything else, Doctor?
This might be a bit of a slight deviation from the topic. However, with Captain Bianca's permission, or Captain West's permission, I should say, I created a holodeck simulation involving the process of assimilation so that non-Borg individuals can understand the process of which gain some empathy, I suppose.
It is a very convincing simulation, Admiral. I've undergone it myself.
I see.
I suggest that it might be prudent to expose officers who will be assigned to the Delta Quadrant, or even certain sections of the Beta Quadrant, to this simulation, if not be integrated as part of the curriculum on the Borg at Starfleet Academy.
I'll review it and take that into consideration.
I will warn you, it is an unpleasant experience.
I appreciate the heads up. Now, Doctor, if you will excuse us, I would like to discuss some other matters with the captain.
Of course. And I will give a nod and make my way out of there, and I'm gonna go jump in the pool.
What is Bianca feeling off of Dockley right now?
A relief.
Ah, good.
That feeling of thank fuck I've finally been heard, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, also that like maybe a slight twinge of like, did I go too far? But yeah. So she's gonna go find something to occupy herself with. Go shopping.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen Earth Space Dock's Promenade? You've got plenty to do out there.
She's gonna go shopping, actually.
And
Get some clothes.
the door closes behind Duffley, Bianca.
And Bianca is putting on a brave ass face, like,
Mm-hmm.
and has the mental fortitude to back it up too.
And Admiral Quinn kind of leans in. Actually, no, Nog is out the door too. And actually, as the two of you are leaving, Dauntless, Naga's like, so, have you ever tried root beer?
And as the door closes, it goes, you just hear quietly, no?
Come on. So the door
Make
closes, and
Bianca's face is business now. Like,
Admiral Quinn leans forward with his hands steepled on his desk and says, now, Bianca, what the hell were you thinking?
we can't forge an alliance on lies, Admiral.
I understand that, but a captain does not call for the resignation of a 2-star admiral.
I understand that too. But I stand by my decision. And as the ranking officer in the Karina sector, I feel like my word would have sway in matters that go on there.
You are not the ranking officer in the Carina Nebula, Captain. That would be Admiral Tashake. I don't suppose you ran any of this by her.
Admiral Tashake has been fairly absent.
So that's a no. I had a very interesting conversation with Jason as Dauntless was on its way back from the Carina Nebula.
Sounded like it was a short one.
It was a short and very one-sided conversation. And he's threatened to pull all intelligence assets out of the nebula entirely.
Oh, please. No, not that.
Captain, watch your tone.
His intelligence assets are what got us in this situation in the first place, Admiral. I don't suppose he ran anything by Admiral Tashake either. But the Zealand trust me. They don't trust Tashake. They certainly hell don't trust Whitman.
No, I don't suppose they do now, do they?
What reason would they have, in the first place, to trust him?
What reason do they have to trust any of the admirals in Starfleet Command now?
What reason do I have to trust the admirals in Starfleet Command when the best you could come up with for alternatives for me in those negotiations was bald-faced lying without knowing what exactly we were lying about, what they actually knew? What if we had been caught in that lie, Admiral?
What's Bianca's mother's first name again?
Vorana.
Verona, what were the chances that this operation to clean up the Copper Corsair mess would have resulted in the Zealand finding out about our involvement?
I didn't realize that she was present. Is she present?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't catch her coming in, so.
She was there with the Admiral and Captain Nog.
Ah.
She says, roughly 14.7%, Admiral.
That's actually a pretty high percentage to hinge interstellar war on.
All right, Captain, let me tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be an official Starfleet inquiry into the Copper Corsair. You will be called to testify. If the inquiry determines that Jason's resignation is warranted, then that is what will happen. Otherwise, the peace deal with the Zealand will be off.
All right. I want to come up with a counter offer.
What'd you have in mind?
I don't know because
Okay.
I don't have Bianca's diplomatic mind.
Okay.
Um,
Well, like, sketch it out for me. Sketch something out for me.
basically, um, it's um, interfering in the affairs of a sovereign power is probably against charter, against regulation.
Well, it's a violation of the Prime Directive.
General Order 1 in general. Yep. And trying to convince the Admiral that, this is a violation that, was pulled under to Shake's nose, my nose, like.
Yeah, I think I get where you're going with this.
Right, and a board of inquiry is just a stalling tactic, and they're just trying to threaten peace with the Zealand, or threaten calling it off because to rattle me, basically. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna kind of just deliver the message that this is not like, if you have a problem with the way I do, if you have a problem with me, kind of letting the truth be known and refusing to compromise the integrity of Starfleet, take my command, take whatever, you guys put me here. I'm trying to show what Starfleet really is. The Admiral, Admiral Whitman.
Mm-hmm. Let's have Bianca make a presence command check using her composure focus. I'm going to set the difficulty here at 3.
Okay. And then I'm going to, and I have my talent cool under pressure.
Right.
So I have an advantage.
Okay, so I'll give you an extra d20 for this. And you can buy an additional one with momentum if you'd like.
I will buy an additional one with momentum as well. Yes.
Okay.
All right. 4 successes.
Nicely done. You regain your momentum. And Quinn considers the argument and kind of leans back in his chair, looks at Quarty, and says to her, "How much of this did you know about before the operation was started?" And she says, "Jarl, he did this on his own initiative. We do need to do an inquiry, but it needs to be done with alacrity." Jarl says, "All right. Bianca, I want to assure you that a board of inquiry is not going to be used as a stalling tactic here. But we do need to get to the bottom of this. If Jason acted on his own initiative and violated the Prime Directive or any other part of the Starfleet Charter, then we need to find out how it happened, why it happened, what Starfleet can do again to make sure it doesn't happen, or what Starfleet can do to make sure it doesn't happen again. Up to and including calling for his resignation. Insofar as the Dauntless was involved, I am still going to need you to testify. Along with any of your officers who may also have been involved."
You realize that'll put targets on our backs, sir.
The inquiry will be confidential, will be held here at our space dock.
Fair enough. And for what it's worth, Admiral, I'm sorry that I've had to put you in this position. But I cannot abide the dissolution of our values that I have been seeing.
Every once in a while, Bianca, Starfleet does lose its way. When it's happened in the past, sometimes it's been up to starship captains to help reset the course. Jim Kirk, Jean-Luc Picard, even Jonathan Archer. So, consider yourself in good company. But also consider yourself lucky that I didn't listen to Jason and have you relieved of command," he says with a slight smile on his face.
Well, you can ask my mother. I never really wanted it in the first place, sir. And she kind of just, like, a smile creeps up from the corner of her lips.
All right, well, Verona and I have some paperwork to get started.
There is one other thing, Admiral.
And he just kind of looks back up at you.
They want tachyon grid detection technology.
Well, Starfleet intelligence won't like it, but they'll just have to find a way to adapt. We'll make it happen.
I figure it was a small price to pay versus the extradition of the Shroud's crew.
Agreed. Now, if you'll excuse us, Captain.
Admiral, I appreciate your willingness to back me up on this.
At the end of the day, we're all Starfleet, and integrity matters.
Couldn't agree
Wow.
more.
An admiral who gives a shit.
And she looks at her mother and she goes, Admiral Quarty, before she...
And she just kind of gives you a silent nod. Oh, Captain, there was one other thing.
Bianca kind of halfway turns around. She goes, yes.
And I'd almost forgotten it in the midst of the far more serious discussions, but Starfleet is rolling out a new Alliance uniform. And given that Dauntless was one of the first ships to have an integrated Khitomer Alliance crew, would like to offer her crew the opportunity to wear the new uniforms.
I will send a memorandum to my crew.
All right. Well, that'll be all, Captain. We'll let you be on your way.
Of course. And she kind of like walks out of there, like mentally wiping sweat off her brow.
That was a very tense social conflict that could have very well ended with Shienna in command of the Dauntless.
Right.
So, well done.
Yes, yay, Captain West.
I also did have my spotlight milestone saved just in case I needed to spend it on that.
Is it the spotlights or the normal milestones that you can use for as determination? Because I thought it was just the normal ones.
I think it's the normal ones, but I have a normal one and a spotlight one,
Gotcha.
so I'm saving both.
Gotcha.
I prefer to save those and just use the arc milestones to
Fair.
up my stats.
So you find yourself just out on Earth Space Dock's promenade at this point, and
Can Tom be there, kind of floating, because Bianca told Tom what had
Yeah.
happened, and Tom's probably like, "I'll be there for moral support."
in fact, do you want to make that a momentum spend?
Sure.
We'll do one momentum since he's in the neighborhood anyway. Oops, that's not what I meant by one momentum. There we go. So, Captain Paris is waiting for you right outside Quinn's office when you come out, and you take this huge sigh of relief, and he just kind of steps up to you and wraps you up in a hug. He looks you over, says, "Well, you still got all 4 pips.
For now.
You okay? What happened in there?"
Oh, just who the hell do you think you are for calling for a 2-star admiral's resignation and yada yada yada.
It's kind of bold. You sure you don't have a secret communication device with Balana, do you?
I like to think it's something I picked up from Morale, actually, but
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me
Citroma?
either.
maybe Citroma? I don't know. I just...
How's she doing these days?
Citroma? Oh, she's having the time of her life. She's on a giant scimitar-class warbird, Starfleet's not breathing down her neck anymore.
Must be nice. Speaking of which, I've got some interesting information that you might like to hear.
Oh?
I'm being transferred.
Where?
Starbase 374, commanding officer.
Get
And he
out
just
of
grins.
town.
So,
Well,
I might be asking you for a ride here in the near future.
oh, this is gonna be great. Balana's gonna hate it, though.
Balana may be coming with. They're gonna need a chief engineer.
What? Okay, so... Awesome. Also, you gotta stick around long enough, because... And she just kind of, wiggles the finger in front of him. I don't know if I told you.
I don't think you did tell me, and he wraps you up in a hug again. Congratulations!
Well, I just gotta get him, back from the Romulan Empire first.
Wait, what?
Between you, me, and the wall.
And he looks
There's
around
a-
and says, "There are no safe walls here. Is there someplace else we can talk about this?"
Bianca just kind of she says, let's just say, I think I have it under control.
All right, I trust you, but if you need help, you call
Oh,
Space Dad. You got it?
Yeah. Well, and you're walking me down the aisle, and there's going to be fully clothed everybody, I promise.
Oh, thank the heavens. That's a relief.
Come
All right,
on.
look, I got to get back to Mars. I got to start my out processing. I will be in touch.
Okay. And I guess I'll be seeing you around.
I guess so.
Bianca's just like, everything's coming up Millhouse.
and that's when you get the chime on your comm badge.
West here.
Captain, it's Catalea. You've got an encrypted transmission, your eyes only. I've got it in your ready room.
Alright, I'll be right there. And Bianca is actually going to transport to the Dauntless. Straight to the bridge and then head to the ready room.
Okay.
And bring it up on her console.
So the console does not come up with the typical Starfleet logo, Bianca, and it's not the Romulan Republic logo either, although that's what it looked like at first glimpse. This is an Imperial Romulan transmission.
Bianca's like, oh, here we go, here we go!
Captain Bianca West. This is Imperator Katira Selvin of the Romulan Imperial Navy. I have captured... It's a one-way transmission, as far as you can tell.
Oh, okay.
I have in my custody Captain Varek Santiago. He has led me to believe that he is of value to you as in a personal capacity. If you wish to see him again, you will bring the Dauntless alone to the IHI system. And then the transmission ends.
And then Bianca just sends a just a transmission to Datan.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, she basically just says, it's happening, you know, like.
Gotcha.
They probably agreed on like a code word or something, but. And then she calls up Admiral Quinn and Admiral Kuardi.
Captain, we didn't expect to hear from you so soon.
Well, I didn't expect to have to talk to you so soon. I have just received a message from Imperator Katira Selvin of the Romulan Star Empire. She says that she has the captain of the Shroud in her custody.
We hadn't heard anything from the Shroud until now. We'll double check with them. Do you have any other information?
She has demanded that I bring the Dauntless to the IHI system. Alone.
And Verona speaks up. Bianca, you realize this is a trap.
Bianca is going to telepathically communicate to her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Mother, I knew about this. The Imperator wants to defect to the Republic.
This could still be a trap. Don't trust her.
I'm aware of the risk.
Captain, Quinn says, let me be perfectly clear. Dauntless has cutting-edge technology that would send the Romulan Imperial Navy ahead several years, put them back on par with the Federation in terms of technology. Under no circumstances is the Dauntless to travel to the IHI system by itself.
Then what do you suggest?
Verona, give me the projected fleet strength of Imperator Selvin's fleet. Not many. There's no way we'll be able to move that many ships to counter her fleet undetected. Captain, I want you to rendezvous with 7th Fleet at Starbase 39 Sierra. Once you're there, you'll receive orders from Admiral Tenay.
And Bianca kind of communicates to her mother. She goes, bring Quinn up to speed, but this has to look legit to the Star Empire.
You just get a mental will do.
Alright, will do. Let me know if there are any changes to the plan.
Will do, Captain. Sorry to cancel your shore leave, but all things considered, Dauntless can get there faster than any other ship.
I will set a course. And Bianca is going to step out onto the bridge and basically call everybody back. And is Jonas on the bridge currently?
Yes, he would have found any excuse to go back to the ship.
And she goes, once everybody's back on board, Lieutenant Cardin, prepare to clear our moorings and set a course at maximum quantum slipstream velocity to Starbase 39 Sierra.
Aye, Captain. And in his head, he's like, the farther I am away from Earth, the farther I'm away from being engaged against my will.
Bianca would hear that.
Mm-hmm.
He's at the moment, he's not even thinking that his captain is psychic. He's just, I need to get away.
Bianca talked to Jonas telepathically,
I don't see why not.
and Bianca would just be like, you could have just said that Earth was uncomfortable for you.
Jonas jumps about 3 feet in his chair. And then, like, composes himself
Bianca just smirks, and then she crosses her legs while she sits in the captain's chair.
And the rest of the senior staff are starting to come onto the bridge now.
Does that include a rye or no?
No.
Okay.
But you do have one unread message on your terminal. Commander, you have a new message on your private terminal.
Oh, God.
What
No
does the message say?
It is from Captain Franklin Drake, Starfleet Intelligence, with a change of station orders for one Lieutenant Commander Rai Imaneha Turkev.
Yeah, it's like, great. He's gonna be Section 31. Just great.
Effective immediately. And
Well,
that is...
then,
Go ahead.
and then once they're through the space door, she just goes, engage.
And
Okay.
that's where we're gonna call it for the night.
And Shiana's like, so where are we going to now?
Well,
Anywhere
there's
but
going to be a
here.
briefing,